Welcome to a deep dive into the intricate world of human behavior. We're
Yeah.
cracking open Robert Greene's The Laws of Human Nature,
Yeah.
to uncover those hidden forces that make us tick.
That's right.
The good and the not so good.
Absolutely.
All of it.
It's about going beyond just observing what people do
Right.
and delving into those unconscious motivations driving their actions.
Yeah.
This isn't about manipulation,
Oh.
but rather self-knowledge
Right.
and understanding how to navigate
All right.
the complexities of human interaction.
Because sometimes you just can't explain why you acted a certain way or someone else's behavior seems totally baffling.
Yeah.
It's like there's this hidden demon pulling the strings.
And what's fascinating is that this lack of self-awareness, this isn't new throughout history. We see examples of people attributing their actions
Right.
to these simplistic explanations.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're evil or I wasn't myself,
Yeah.
without truly grasping the
Yeah.
deeper psychological forces at play.
So let's dive into this idea that we're not as rational as we like to think.
Okay.
Greene argues that we're heavily influenced by this pleasure principle
Right.
and something called confirmation bias.
Yeah.
We seek out information that validates our desires,
That's right.
even if the evidence points in a completely different direction.
The 2008 housing crash is a perfect example of this.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more.
People ignored all the warning signs because they were so caught up in the idea of easy money.
Yeah.
They wanted to believe that this time it's different, that housing prices would keep going up forever,
Right.
even though history showed otherwise.
So even those who consider themselves experts
Yes.
can fall prey to these irrational impulses.
Absolutely.
It's like our emotions hijack our rational brains.
Yeah.
Leading us to make decisions that we might later regret.
Exactly. Greene distinguishes between what he calls low-grade irrationality,
Okay.
those everyday moods that subtly color our choices,
Right.
and high-grade irrationality, where intense emotions like anger or fear completely derail our thinking.
Okay, now here's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Greene emphasizes the power of observation,
Right.
particularly those nonverbal cues
Yeah.
that often reveal more than words ever can.
Yeah.
He suggests that we're all actors on the stage of life,
That's right.
constantly adapting our behavior, but our true feelings leak out
Right.
through subtle signals.
Think about micro-expressions.
Okay.
Those fleeting facial expressions that betray our true emotions.
Wow.
Or the way someone's tone of voice can completely change the meaning of their words.
It's like that saying, it's not what you say, but how you say it.
Exactly. And Milton Erickson, the renowned therapist,
Oh,
is
yeah.
a great example of someone who understood the power of nonverbal communication.
Okay.
Paralyzed as a child, he became incredibly attuned
Yeah.
to those subtle signals,
Okay.
later using them as powerful tools in his therapeutic practice.
This brings to mind Greene's discussion of deep narcissists.
Hmm.
They can be incredibly charming at first,
That's right.
but he suggests that this is a tactic
Yeah.
to gain attention and control.
Right.
They lack genuine intimacy, seeing others as mere extensions of themselves.
Think about someone like Stalin.
Okay.
He could be superficially charming, but his actions revealed
Right.
a deeply troubled individual
Yeah.
with a history of cruelty.
So how do we counter these darker impulses both in ourselves and in others?
Yeah.
Greene points to empathy as a sort of superpower.
Right.
He argues that we all have this capacity,
Mm-hmm.
but it's often buried under layers of self-absorption.
Ernest Shackleton,
Yeah.
the Antarctic explorer,
Right.
is a fantastic example of this.
Yeah.
He used empathy to maintain morale among his crew
Wow.
during their harrowing ordeal.
That's amazing.
Greene suggests that cultivating empathy involves actively listening,
Right.
trying to see the world
Yeah.
through the other person's eyes,
Right.
understanding their values and motivations.
This makes me think about the human tendency
Yeah,
to project our own desires and fears onto others.
right.
Greene uses the example of Tolstoy and his wife Sonia,
Uh-huh.
who projected their own unmet needs onto each other,
Right.
fueling conflict and misunderstanding in their relationship.
What's important to remember is that we all do this to some degree.
Right?
It's not about blaming others,
Yeah.
but increasing our self-awareness
Right?
so we can unravel those tangled dynamics
Yeah.
in our relationships and create healthier connections.
Greene even explores the idea of harnessing envy,
Okay.
that primal emotion often disguised as resentment or
Right.
indignation.
He points to John Blunt,
Yeah.
whose envy of John Law's success with the Mississippi Company fueled his ambition to create the South Sea Company.
Interesting.
Greene suggests that envy, when channeled effectively, can be a source of motivation.
Yeah.
But if left unchecked, it can become incredibly destructive.
Okay, let's talk about grandiosity.
Yeah.
Greene argues that this inflated sense of self-importance often leads to a downfall.
He uses Michael Eisner,
Okay.
the former Disney CEO, as an example,
Yeah.
driven by grandiosity.
Right.
Eisner made a series of bad decisions that ultimately harmed the company.
Yeah.
Greene highlights the importance of staying grounded,
Yeah.
acknowledging luck,
Right.
and recognizing the contributions of others.
So how do we apply all these insights in a practical way?
Yeah.
Greene touches on the art of seduction,
Right.
which I find fascinating because he expands it beyond just the romantic context.
He cites Coco Chanel,
Oh, yeah.
who cultivated a mysterious and alluring persona,
Okay.
associating her designs with novelty and transgression.
Right.
It wasn't about manipulation,
Right.
but understanding and appealing to people's desires,
Yeah.
sparking their imaginations.
This makes me think about our tendency to get stuck in short-term thinking.
Right.
Greene argues that our brains are wired for immediate gratification.
Often leading us to make impulsive decisions that don't serve our long-term goals.
He uses Louis XVI as an example,
Yeah.
who, oblivious to the revolution brewing,
Right.
remained fixated on the pleasures of court life.
Wow.
Greene suggests we need to consciously develop our capacity for long-term thinking
Okay.
by detaching from immediate pressures,
Right.
considering potential consequences, and identifying our true priorities.
That makes sense.
It's a skill that requires effort and practice.
And that brings us to the concept of generational personalities.
Okay.
Greene argues that each generation is shaped by the events of their formative years,
Right.
leading to distinct values and worldviews.
He uses the example of Jianhua,
Okay.
a student during the Cultural Revolution,
Right.
who was swept up in the fervor of the movement.
So how do we make sense of all of this?
Yeah.
You know, these different generational trends.
Well, it allows us to anticipate societal shifts
Okay.
and adapt more effectively.
Right.
It's about recognizing that our own perspective
Yeah. Is just one piece of a larger, ever-evolving puzzle.
I like that.
Yeah. It's a really interesting point, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And that leads us to one of the most crucial elements Greene explores.
Okay.
Finding your true purpose.
Oh, yeah.
It's what provides direction and fulfillment in life,
Right.
but it's often obscured by what he calls false purposes.
You mean like chasing pleasure money or attention for their own sake?
Yeah, those things that seem fulfilling in the moment,
Right.
but ultimately leave you feeling empty.
Exactly.
Greene contrasts those pursuits with figures like Martin Luther King Jr.,
Yeah.
driven by a profound calling to fight for social justice.
Right. It's about aligning your actions with a deeper sense of meaning.
Yes, something that resonates on a soul level.
This makes me think about how easily we can get swept up in the dynamics of a group.
Right.
Greene argues that groups exert a powerful influence
Yeah.
on our thoughts and behavior.
Oh.
We conform, we imitate,
That's right.
we adopt the beliefs of those around us.
Yeah.
Sometimes without even realizing it.
The Cultural Revolution in China is a chilling example of this.
Oh, wow.
Groupthink led to mass hysteria and violence
Right.
as individuals abandoned their critical thinking and succumbed to the pressure to conform.
So how do we retain our individuality amidst that pressure to conform?
Right.
How do we become, as Greene puts it, superior social actors?
It's about recognizing the signs of groupthink.
Okay.
The suppression of dissent, the pressure to conform, the demonization of outsiders,
Right.
cultivating critical thinking, questioning assumptions, and valuing diverse perspectives.
Yeah.
These are crucial antidotes to this.
This ties into Greene's discussion of authentic authority. He argues that true authority is based on competence,
Right.
empathy,
Yeah.
and a commitment to a higher purpose,
Yeah.
not on force or manipulation.
Queen Elizabeth Sirce is a compelling example.
Oh, yeah.
She navigated a treacherous political landscape,
Right.
earning the respect of her subjects through her actions and unwavering dedication to England.
So she really embodied those qualities.
Yeah, she understood that authentic authority is earned, not demanded.
Which brings us to the shadow side, that part of ourselves we often try to repress.
Okay.
Greene argues that we all have it.
Yeah.
Those insecurities, aggressive impulses, and darker desires
That's right.
that we'd rather not acknowledge.
Richard Nixon's downfall is a stark illustration of this.
Oh, yeah. How so?
His hidden insecurities and aggression
Right.
ultimately sabotaged his presidency.
Wow.
Greene suggests that recognizing our shadow is the first step towards controlling it, channeling its energy productively rather than letting it control us.
So instead of denying those darker aspects of ourselves, we need to integrate them, understand them, and even leverage them in a healthy way.
Precisely. It's about becoming a more complete human being.
Yeah.
Embracing those complexities and contradictions that make us who we are.
That makes sense.
And that brings us to Greene's final and perhaps most profound exploration. Confronting our mortality.
That's a heavy one.
It seems counterintuitive.
Right.
But Greene suggests that awareness of death can be a powerful motivator to live more fully. To clarify our priorities and appreciate the present moment.
I can see that.
He points to Flannery O'Connor, the writer who, facing a terminal illness, found renewed purpose and creative energy.
It's interesting how these intense experiences can really shift our perspective.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that our time is finite, that each moment is precious. And that embracing this reality can imbue our lives with a sense of urgency and meaning.
So it's not about dwelling on death, but about using it as a lens to focus on what truly matters.
Exactly. And that requires us to become more conscious of our thoughts, to break free from those repetitive loops of anxiety and resentment that keep us stuck.
Greene suggests that transformative experiences like traveling to a foreign country or facing a sudden crisis can jolt us out of this complacency.
It's like those moments force us to pay attention, to become more present, to see the world with fresh eyes. It's like a wake-up call, you know, a reminder to stop sleepwalking through life. And engage with it on a deeper level.
So it's not about denying the realities of life, the pain, the suffering, the inevitability of death, but about finding meaning and purpose within those experiences.
Exactly, and that involves recognizing those hidden forces within us. Understanding the patterns of human behavior and using that knowledge to navigate the world more effectively.
It's about becoming more conscious. More self-aware. And ultimately more alive.
And a key part of that is recognizing our own capacity for aggression.
You know, we tend to associate it with negative behaviors. But Greene argues that aggression, when channeled effectively, can be a powerful force for good.
Exactly. So it's about understanding the different forms of aggression, Greene talks about controlled aggression, like the persistence and determination we need to achieve our goals.
And then there's the darker side, those impulsive outbursts and passive-aggressive tactics.
Those can sabotage our relationships and undermine our goals.
It's about recognizing our own tendencies and developing healthier ways to express that energy.
He uses the term internal saboteur to describe how we can turn that aggression inward, leading to self-loathing and self-sabotage.
It's like we become our own worst enemy.
And that often stems from repressing those aggressive impulses.
Like we try to be nice to avoid conflict, but that pent-up energy has to find an outlet somewhere.
Exactly, which is why Greene emphasizes the importance of being assertive, of setting boundaries. And of expressing our needs and desires in a healthy way.
It's about finding that balance between passivity and aggression.
He provides some fascinating insights into how to deal with passive-aggressive people.
They can be so frustrating.
They often use guilt trips, blame shifting, and subtle digs to manipulate and control.
It's so frustrating because they never directly address the issue. But you're left feeling like you're in the wrong somehow.
Greene suggests that confronting them directly can backfire, as they'll likely deny any wrongdoing.
For sure.
The key is to recognize their tactics and refuse to engage in their game.
This makes me think about those figures in history who were able to inspire and mobilize others. Greene talks about the importance of cultivating authentic authority. That presence that commands respect. Without resorting to force or manipulation.
He contrasts those figures with what he calls the fake forms of authority that emerge in times of chaos and uncertainty.
Like the strongman, the panderer, the chummy leader, and the authority of the crowd.
It's like people are so desperate for leadership, for direction, that they'll fall for anyone who projects an air of confidence and certainty.
Even if it's all a facade.
Greene suggests that authentic authority is built on a foundation of competence, empathy, and a genuine commitment to a higher purpose.
It's about earning respect through actions, not through titles or pronouncements.
Exactly. And it's interesting how he links this back to our own personal development. He suggests that cultivating those qualities, competence, empathy, purpose, not only makes us more effective leaders, but also enriches our lives on a personal level.
It's about aligning our actions with our values.
Exactly.
Pursuing goals that resonate with our deepest selves.
It's not about seeking external validation,
Right.
but about cultivating that inner sense of purpose and fulfillment.
So it's a journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
Of understanding those hidden forces within us.
Uh-huh.
And of using that knowledge to navigate the world more effectively.
Absolutely. It's about becoming more conscious, more intentional, and ultimately more fully alive.
It's a lifelong process, right?
It is, but Greene's insights provide a powerful framework for understanding ourselves and others.
It's about recognizing the patterns of human behavior, embracing those complexities and contradictions, and using that knowledge to create a more fulfilling and meaningful life. It's like having a secret decoder ring for human nature.
And the more we understand these hidden forces, the more effectively we can navigate the world and create positive change, both in our own lives and in the lives of others.
It's about taking that deep dive into the depths of human nature.
Exactly.
And emerging with a newfound sense of understanding, self-awareness, and purpose.
And who knows, you might even discover a hidden strength or two within those demons you thought you knew.
Now there's some food for thought.
Right.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.